What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Dash Rendar. Today we are going to be settling the debate in my mind as far as what is the superior bow. Now obviously this has a little more technology behind it. I've already ran some speed tests. It does go a little bit faster. I'll kind of show some of those as well. But what we have here is two equally matched bows in poundages. This is 135 at 28, 165 at 32. This is 135 at 28. And I'd imagine probably in this 160s at 32. I'm gonna try and get both these to about 30 inches today. And so what I wanna do is test and see the difference of the impact power, because you can see the speed difference, you can see the range difference, but I wanna see if that translates well over into how much it does against armors and shields and things like that, because that's where the real fun is. So we're gonna start off today with just the Viking shield, a wooden shield. And a lot of people asked me to do this with the other one when I did the 165 against it. So we're gonna test this against the Viking shield first, and then kind of see how it unfolds from there. So for this test, we're gonna be about 15 yards from the target, and I'm using the same arrows, which is a slight disadvantage for the recurve because they can actually shoot a lighter arrow and not have it be in trouble of getting damaged. But we're gonna start off with this one here. This is 135 at 28, 165 at 32. Take 3 shots of this thing with bodkin tips and see how it does. So I'm not entirely sure what happened to the first one. That one went here. I don't know if it got caught on something and bounced out, but it did. The other two went right in here, so about that depth right there. So that's kind of like a standard base point. They both went with a similar amount of distance and penetration. So next, we're gonna work up to the recurve. Before I shoot it with the recurve, I wanted to kind of show you something that I discovered. I don't really use this type of bow often, but English bows, or war bows predominantly, they tend to load up a lot in the back. And what that means is that the first little bit of pull is actually relatively easy, and then you get to the hard point and it's gonna load up on the back of the bow, like this. So, these bows here, what I've noticed is that first little pull right there, that's where a lot of that resistance comes into play. So with these bows, when you're working to pull it back, that first little bit is real rough, and then once you kind of get to that break point, it actually lets off just a little bit. So that's gonna be right in here. You can see that's a much harder draw. So it's the same type of style for me. I don't use the thumb draw. It's gonna be up. So that's a very different feel for sure. They also tend to shoot a little straighter. I shot that shield a lot with this bow, but I'm gonna do it again just to get a base value and see how it compares to that, even with my weekend piddly draw that is currently happening right now. But we're gonna continue. All right, so you can see those results are relatively similar to what I've been getting before. I think it was this one right here was one of them. I'll look back at the slow-mo. But again, it's a good puncture, but not all the way through. I'm gonna see if there's any difference, because like I said, I did track them. That one is going faster, even though I'm not giving it its full justice. But I'm gonna check and see if just that efficiency is gonna add some damage. Fudge, that was high. But I'll show you the results of the first one. This thing shoots a little high. Gosh dang it. Learned 2 things today. The first was the importance of not trying to film in 4K because I ran out of storage space right away and did a ton of stuff and didn't film it. The second thing is the recurve did substantially better. Now again, the shot when I hit this, unfortunately, that was lost, but here's the result. It went through and through. I have never had a bow do this at all. I've been done 165, the 155, 130. They've all bounced out. This is the first time I've actually had an arrow go through and through the other side. And that was with that recurve there. I saw I'm struggling with that bow today. The draw is not full, but that is despite user error, honestly, and despite the fact that these aren't really arrows made for it. So, well, I'm always partial to the longbows. this was kind of my proof in the pudding. I know it was faster, it could shoot further, but I was curious how it would do against armor, and it has emerged victorious. So I'm gonna keep training with that thing, maybe get some pre-workout. But I hope you guys enjoyed. We have a winner by TKO here, this new bow. And so this was kind of, didn't go great because I lost a lot of footage without realizing it, that I wasn't recording. But I hope it goes to prove the point that this is definitely going to be something that is devastating with its power, even if it's not being given its full proper usage by me and also by the arrow size. It's generally just night and day when you see it come off, when you see the speed of the release. It's truly impressive. Now, it's much harder because it loads up so much in the front. You have a lot less leeway. Aiming's a little high for me, but overall, it's great. I'm gonna start bringing it out more. I've been practicing with it, but today was just not the day. So we'll get back to it, get the grindstone harder. And if you liked the video, please let me know and tell me all the mistakes I made, because this was a sloppy video. So I was trying to decide whether or not I even want to publish this video. I was so excited to go out there and test the bow and do all these things, and I was just not on point. And so I figured it would be better just to kind of use it as a lesson that things aren't always gonna go right. You know, I have a very limited time when I can film. I have kids, I have a job, etc. And it was like, you know, with all the perfectly crafted videos and all that stuff, sometimes it's just good to show that there are off days. You can train. I spend hours a week training to do heavy bows, but even then, there's times I don't feel strong enough, or my form's not good, or I'm just struggling out there. So this is kind of random. I wish I would have caught when the arrow went through the shield. Again, it was really cool data for me because the Recurve did outperform the Longbow substantially, but again, that's all with the asterisk of it just wasn't very good. I wasn't on point. My draws weren't deep. And so, you know, even with that, it was fun to do and it's fun to share, and hopefully you guys get a laugh of just how bad I was doing that day. But this became less a video about the data and more about just like, you know, when the days suck and you go out and do it and you push hard anyways, those are the days that build a character. So stay strong, everyone, and no one's perfect all the time. There's days where you're just gonna be terrible, but that's when you build the character.